Batgirl number 21, written by Gail Simone, art by Fernando Pasarin. So last issue, we had the introduction of the ventriloquist who has taken hostage of this singer slash reality TV show star, whatever. Also, Barbara's really upset that she had to kill her brother. So we open up with Nightwing jumping around doing his own crime thing in Chicago. He calls up Barbara and they basically just have a back and forth of like, hey, Barbara, you know I'm here for you if you need it. And she's like, I'm not okay, Dick. I am so not okay. And he's like, okay, well, I'm actually in Chicago, so I guess I'm not here for you. But like, have you considered talking to Batman after all the death of the family stuff? And also Damian, might be useful to talk to him. And she's like, I don't think anybody can really help me right now. Thank you for like wanting to, but like I got to deal with this. Goodbye. And then she literally says the words, well, that was depressing. And then we just forget about that for like the rest of the plot. So we go back to the ventriloquist plot and she's showing that she's hacking into her dad's database because he keeps on changing the password over and over and she's able to get in like under an hour. And she's like, okay, ventriloquist, I saw every license plate in the garage. She had to be driving one of them. I'll just run that through the system and see what I get. And she like immediately comes up with the name Shauna Belzer, which is the name of the ventriloquist, and goes through like her entire family history and blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, all right, well, gonna deal with that. She walks out. Her roommate is like, hey, you want to stay in, watch a scary movie? And she's like, oh my God, I didn't even think your brother, he watched scary movies with you. I'm such an idiot. And she's like, no, it's cool. We didn't really do that recently. So I'm going to go though. So she's driving through the city trying to go to Shauna's last known address. And we see that her mom, other Barbara, is packing up all of her stuff and going back home. And Jim's standing there like, you don't have to leave. You could stay. Like, especially right now with how Barbara's going through stuff, like, be here for your daughter. And she's like, no, look, she understands. I got to get out of here. There's a lot going on in Gotham, and I'm not entirely sure why I came back. And so she gives Jim a kiss and says, I'm sorry, but like, you love this city more than anything, and that includes me, so I got to go. And Jim just tells her, look, I'm going to find Batgirl, and I'm going to get her for what she did to our boy, our child. So then we go to later, and ventriloquist is on a police scanner radio canceling a alarm that's about to be sent to her house because she is able to perfectly mimic Dispatch's voice, which you would think Dispatch would be able to come on and say, what? I didn't say that. Who's copying me? But I guess they just weren't listening. So at this point, we see that the dummy, I'm blanking on his name. It's like Duty or something like that. The dummy is actually like 100% able to move and speak and think on its own, seemingly without Shauna's intervention at all. So it's hitting on the judge who's just breaking down crying, and she's like, hey, you don't love me. I'm not the only girl for you if you're hitting on this celebrity. And he's like, baby cakes, you got it all wrong. And she's like, prove it. Cut her eyes out. And he's like, all right, fine. So he goes up and he's about to cut out her eyes. And then all of a sudden we hear Barbara breaking into the house. And she's like, all right, hold on, put a hold on that. We got to take care of this. So Batgirl then uses some like flashlight glove that she's got going on. And she sees that this house is absolutely disgusting. Like, not just dirt. It is disease level of disgusting. And then she hears a scream from upstairs coming from the celebrity judge. And she's like, oh God, okay, I'm coming. Don't worry. And as she's going up, she sees the kitchen table with Shauna's dead parents on either side of the table, their eyes cut out. And just like, oof, yeah, no, that's a bit much. This is a bit gross for me. And she sees a board with all these murders posted to it, and it's like, oh no, she's a fan of murder. And then the parents get up and start attacking Barbara, like just of their own volition. Ventriloquist is not near, and they keep on saying things of like, oh, have you met our daughter? She's so talented. She's got professional headshots, you know. And Batgirl's like, this is messed up. I am fighting actual corpses here. And she one of them comes at her with a knife. Batgirl says, well, as long as you guys are already dead. She turns the knife onto the father, cuts his head off, and then stabs the knife upwards into the mother's head. And she's like, yep, I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life now. That's great. So she handcuffs the corpses to a table as they're still talking. And one of them's like, oh, she won't do nudity unless it's absolutely essential to the story. So at that point, we see Ventriloquist is still imitating the celebrity's voice, saying, oh, help me, please. They cut out my eyes. And Ferdy, that's the name of the dummy. So she says, Ferdy, go out there and work your magic. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait to get my hands all over that redheaded chick. And he's like, Ferdy, come on. I'm here. You are not to lay a hand on her unless it is to draw blood. And he's like, fine, whatever. So she walks into a darkened room, sees Ferdy is on a stage with like cameras and lights and curtains and everything, and then Ferdy just leaps off and just like, you want to get with me, baby? Once you go wood, you'll never have it so good. That is an actual line. And he like stabs her in the shoulder. She comments on how insanely strong this ventriloquist dummy is, but then he's like, okay, I gotta deal with this, and if the dummy is just the dummy, I shouldn't feel bad about doing this. And so she throws a batarang into Ferdy's head. Ferdy's like, I'm not sure what you really were hoping for. I don't have a brain up there. And it's like, oh, it's not a razor batarang. It's a concussive one. So it explodes. Ferdy's is in like a bunch of pieces. And then Shauna comes out screaming like, how dare you destroy my lover? And Batgirl just punches her in the face. End of arc. So we do have a bit of wrap up here. The judge is like, thank you so much. But I noticed that your costume no longer has a bat on it. Who should I say saved me? And Batgirl's like, it's no one, I guess. Just whatever, who cares? So later on, she's cooking some cookies for her roommate. And it's just like, look, it was weird to see such a messed up family dynamic there. I guess that my family isn't so bad after all, but I'm still learning to come to terms with it. And Alicia's like, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but all right, fair enough. And then there's a ring at the doorbell, and Barbara realizes that she had a date with Ricky tonight, and she is covered in flour and chocolate and such, wearing her cookie-eating PJs, as Ricky's standing there at the door with flowers. Uh-oh. We'll get to that next issue. As for this one, I kind of wish this would have been more, you know? Like, I wanted them to explore the ventriloquist a bit more. I mean, we got the surface level stuff of, oh yeah, she's freaky and she has some sort of power, but it's still not clear what the power is, and I didn't need a full explanation, but I kind of just wanted it to be, at minimum, like a 4-issue story, like a mystery of her going through and figuring this out. Ventriloquist is an interesting villain when used properly. This one felt more like the B plot. Admittedly, it wasn't. It was the majority plot of the story, but it just felt like we didn't want to do this, if that makes any sense. If it was required that there just be a villain here. So, I don't know. I was just hoping for a bit more, I guess. Long story short. I'll give this one, though, I'll give it a 7. A lot of that, though, is on the writing. I thought it was actually pretty funny throughout, especially Ferdy's lines. Because he's messed up, but he's snarky, and I appreciate that when it's written well. So yeah, I'll give this a 7, and we'll see what happens with Batgirl's date. Uh-oh.